All right, so Tami will be here in just a couple of seconds. General Q&A session on this one, but I also would like to talk about swimmers and flat chests, because we're having an issue with that with a particular large puppy right now on a small litter. I'll talk about that here in a minute. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to drag the puppy out and I want to just kind of get on with the whole thing. But we've experienced this a few times, so it's nothing new for us. But if it's new for you, you really want to pay attention to this, because catching it early, doing the right things. I can tell you this, some vets will say euthanize these puppies, and that's absolutely nuts. In our experience, they've all been completely savable fairly quickly. Okay, let's have a look here. So Osmond Beach is here, great. Angela Byth is with us. Dana Hall is, hey Dana. Dana got one of my lifts. Actually, she might get two of them because FedEx messed up. And anyway, that's holding. We know about that, don't we, Dana? Okay, so Sarah says fine now. Matt Burkhart says hello. Hello, Burke. GNC's hi for Illinois. Can you take a minute on big rope gene later, how it passes out? You bet, we'll talk about that. When do you like to switch to dry food? Good question. So we're talking now about puppies. I'm talking about weaning puppies and about what point can you put them on dry food. So let me tell you what our regime is. Look, this is all a bit variable, and it certainly varies by the size of the puppies too. But in general, I think that something around 4.5 weeks is about the right time to think about weaning puppies. Sooner, if mum is having a rough time. You may be that mum's milk has been no good, or she's been an aggressive mama and you've had to handle the whole thing, in which case, definitely the sooner, so you can get your life back, right? Because you've been, yeah. So at what point can you get them over to mushy food? I think 4 to 5 weeks generally. Some of the smaller puppies might not take to it so well. That's why you've got to pay attention to what's going on and make sure that the smaller puppies are doing okay, because they may need more mum time. But by the time you're around 5 to 6 weeks, you can start dry. So we start off with, we used to use Royal Canine puppy mousse in a can. It's pretty expensive stuff. We just started taking the Life's Abundance puppy food and moistening that for about 30, 40 minutes. So it's nice and mushy, mushing it with a fork and giving them that as a starting point. That works really well. Plus, Tami was like, you know, I don't like this idea about getting them on one food and then transitioning them to another food. Why don't we just get them on the same food? It's supposed to be good for puppies. They're puppies. Let's put them on the puppy mush. The puppy higher protein puppy formula kibble. She was right. So we start moistening that down, feeding that, and then we start taking away the amount of water we put in it. And by the time you're around 6 weeks, they're typically on hard kibble at that point with no moisture at all. I think our puppies now are 8 weeks, and I think we're completely dry. We'll find out from Tami here in a little bit. What you want to watch out for here is you want to make sure that puppies don't get choked on little pieces of food. So to moisten it down and mush it up is a good idea, and to see how they do with that. Okay, so there's that one. Let's have a look. Where's the next one? Let's see. So we've got the Frenchy Cocos here. Hello, hi. Benny Hood. Hey, everybody. It's good to have you here, Benny. Moose, his greetings from Philippines. I don't know, Philippines, that's all the way around the world. So if it's 8 o'clock here, it's got to be about 8 o'clock in the Philippines, if I was guessing. That's about as far away as you can get from here. Tami and I went to a Filipino restaurant the other day, and the people there were really nice, and they were talking about going to the Philippines. So Tami and I were talking about going to the Philippines on our next trip. Except that Tami doesn't. Tami, do you like being in a plane for 24 hours?
No, I'm sorry. I would love
to go there. It's a 24-hour trip, no. So I don't know if I can get Tami talked into this or not. Hey, question for you. Yes. Someone's asking about puppies.
Man, you made me sink in. What?
Someone's asking about puppies. I'm going to crank it down a little bit because you're short. There we go. Someone's asking about puppies.
Yes.
And they're asking about at what point do we get them on totally dry food when we're weaning. So I said 6 weeks. Is that right or is that wrong?
Well, you can start it, but when you have a whole bunch of puppies, I'm trying to get this on there.
Okay, yeah.
When you're doing the dry's flying around all over the floor because they're all in competition, putting their heads in there, and the dry food's flying out. So I still kind of wet mine. But if you got a small litter of 2 and 3, you can wet it down at 6 weeks or 7 weeks. I'm sorry.
So these puppies here are 8 weeks. They're completely on dry food now?
Well, they can be, but it's a big mess if I let it just be dry.
Okay, so there's another reason then.
Because it flies out of the bowl. So I dampen
okay,
it
that's
a little
idea.
bit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
so you're not,
it makes a mess when it's all dry.
You're drying it down from a hygiene, not a hygiene, but a cleanup point of view.
Cleanup point of view.
Because
Yeah,
everything.
but they can eat it hard, but it's not a soft, mushy kibble. Yeah. It's a soft on the outside and then hard on the inside. So it's still kind of hard. But if there was 2 or 3, like in Kit's litter when we had 2 or 3, it was easy to put them on dry food at 7 weeks and didn't have to worry about a big mess.
I haven't got you mic'd up.
Sorry.
People are still here. So one thing that's going on right now, these puppies are 8 weeks old, and they are just going hell for leather after each other. I mean, not in a vicious way, in a playful way,
just
but I mean,
puppy stage.
They've got two
they
modes
start
right now.
At 6.5 weeks, and so
they've got 2 modes. It's like play like crazy or go to sleep in a pile.
Well, what they do when they're playing that rough, they're tired and they're gonna go take a nap.
So in the morning, the first thing we do in the morning is we let the puppies out. They're in their crate and they get their play area, and they get some food. They don't get any food yet. They get some water out there, and when the food goes out there, there's 2 bowls, 5 puppies, and I mean it's a free for all, isn't it? So I can see why you're wetting it down, because it would just be flying all over the place.
Yeah.
So that makes good sense. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stacy Neff says, we are headed to our vet in the morning for our first reverse PG. Mum will be 62 days. Okay, so I would say to you, hopefully you've been. Why don't you tell us what your girl's temperature is? Did you take it yesterday? Have you taken it today? If you haven't, take a break, go take it, then report back to us, tell us what temperature. Then we're going to give you then we'd also like to know what was the date that you did the AI and what the PG level was on that date. And then we're all going to put our heads together and we're going to have a bet as to when you're going to have puppies. And then we'll see next week.
Well, I want to know. I want to know what she's doing right now too.
Well, right now she's going to go take that dog's temperature
at 60 days. 60.
I know. 60
is she at 60 days?
Well, there's some questions. So here's the questions. I get lots of phone calls on this. Literally every day I get a phone call about whether it's time. And so here's the things that I need to know. How many puppies do you think you got on board? You got a big litter? You got 5 puppies? You got 7 puppies?
If she looks like she's busting at the seams, you're going to have it probably a day earlier.
So what people say is, oh, I didn't go get, I haven't done an ultrasound or X-ray. I don't know. Look at the puppy. What we want to know is, does this dog look like it's got a small size basketball in its belly?
The mama dog.
Does it look like it's nice and pregnant? Because if it is, it means that you've got your AI date right, and we can then go off your AI date 61 days forward and come up with a pretty good idea about when she's going to have puppies. If you've got a small litter, a singleton, 1 puppy, 2 puppies, it means you probably got your AI wrong, and now that 61 days from AI is fairly meaningless, and you get you in trouble. So the things we'd like to know from you are, what was your date of your AI? What was the PG level at that point, if you've got it? How many puppies do you think you've got on board, and what's the temperature? And is she doing any nesting, panting, and is she eating food? Based on all of that, we can predict. We'll all work together on this, and we'll see what we come up with on a date. All right, Tammy, you're up.
I'm up.
My phone's messed up, so you have to go ask it. What's the question?
It's Deanna Flores says hello, and so we say hello back. And then Rican Blues, good evening. Your videos has helped me, and my second litter's coming. Well, congratulations.
Good, great. Well,
my heart's in the way. I couldn't help me a lot and have my second litter.
So I'm going to go grab that puppy that's got the big puppy. We're going to talk about that for a little bit.
Okay.
So just you keep nattering away about things that are interesting you on dogs.
Well, I can tell you that we've got our 2 little boys that are 8 weeks old. They're the only ones left in that litter that are fluffy carriers. One is a new shade Isabella. His name is Cider. And Cypress is a lilac and tan, carries testable, and he carries fluffy as well. No brindle, no pied in that litter group. And so the girls will be leaving. 2 of the girls will be leaving on the 26th. So everybody's starting to leave home, but my 2 little boys need a home. So if you want a pet, call me. If you want a breeding boy, call me. I've reduced price considerably. Just really come down. So give me a call.
If you want a bigger French Bulldog, I've got it right here.
This is a big boy.
It's a big boy. So this boy is now 3 weeks.
He's going to be bigger than the 2 boys that I've got.
Yeah, how old is he now?
And he might not. He may stay big. He is 2.5 weeks old.
Okay, 2.5 weeks old. So first off, his eyes opened up a little late because he's a big dog, right?
But let me show his fur. Look.
He's a full fluffy.
Yes.
He's got really beautiful thick fur.
I think all 3 of them are full fluffies.
Okay, so now you will see his little legs are tied up together. And the reason for that is I noticed a few days ago a few things about this puppy. The first one was I already knew that he was going to be a big puppy. I need to pay attention.
Well, he never did stand up and move around. He just kind of turned in a circle.
That's right, with his legs splayed out behind him. So he was what you call a swimmer puppy. And a swimmer puppy, the problem with a swimmer puppy is they tend to lay on their chest. You get this more big puppies, small litters, mum with lots of milk. There's no competition for milk. They get very lazy and they get this swimmer and they end up, if you're not careful, with a very flat chest. And it may be hard for you to see that here.
You can see.
But you can see his chest. Move that leg out of the way. Yes. Okay,
yeah, see there.
There you can see it.
Nice
see that chest. That chest is flat. Now, I also noticed that he was breathing about twice the rate of the other dogs in the list. So rather than being 1 breath a second, it was more like 2 breaths a second. So that is of a concern. So with these dogs, some vets will tell you that you should euthanize the dog, which is completely nuts.
No.
We've had this.
They come out of this.
Yeah, we probably had this 5 or 6 times in our breeding career.
The day we taped him up, he started raising his front end up.
Yes, the moment this was done, immediately he started to get his legs out in front of him because that's where he can walk around. And today he's not walking. He's not walking, but he's not crawling around anymore.
He's off his chest.
He's got his legs up on the front, and he's got his back legs trying to get underneath him. Huge change. So he will be fine. But look, the point here is that you've got to get on top of this. And the fix for this is just show the legs again, Tammy. I've got videos on how to take the legs up. Basically, what you're going to do. I put this on yesterday, and it's still on. Is you're going to get some Band-Aid tape, and you're going to tie the 2 legs together.
Johnson & Johnson is the best.
And typically it comes off fairly quickly, but this
1 inch. I'm sorry, 1 inch.
Stayed on for 24. It's actually since yesterday morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Been on for a day and a half.
Yeah.
How long will it need to be on for? Till he gets up on his feet properly, and that comes off, and he's walking around without it. But yeah,
it is.
But he'll be fine.
But it's right at the elbow, what I call the elbow.
Well, your back leg, so it's the shin bone.
Yeah. Or the hock,
So just turn around again a second, because that's a good point here. So this is his foot. That's his ankle.
That's what I called the little
elbow. That's his knee. You can see it bending there. That's his knee. That's his thigh. That's his knee.
Right
that's
under
his shin
knee
bone.
And in between his little.
Yeah. But any way that you do this, it doesn't really matter. If it could be a tad bit close together.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to redo it. That's good enough to get the job done.
But he's been raising his little chest up, so.
Yes, so he will be fine.
He's a lilac and tan, carries cream, and he is carrying testable chocolate as well. And nice full puppy, or full fluffy, sorry. Chanel's got her little baby. He is 7.5 weeks old. He's a full fluffy, lilac and tan, carries testable and intensity, and he's just a beautiful little boy. So call me for her baby too. 580-799-1910. Yeah, he's got that Polar Junior look.
He's got a nice head on him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Good little thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Benny says, Benny, we have a puppy that's 12 ounces at 4 weeks old. We've been tube feeding her 4 to 5 times a day in addition to mother's milk. Other pups are 2 pounds plus.
Hey, Mama.
She has a cleft lip, but the palate is fine.
Hey, Mama.
Yep. Been there, done this.
For a little bit.
So,
for a little bit.
First thing is that there's 2 kinds of clefts to worry about. So the one that really gets you in trouble is where you look in their mouth and there is a gap, a longitudinal gap, where normally you and I would have a ridge in our mouth. There's a little gap there, a little gap like this. And the problem with that gap is it's a connection between the mouth and the nose through the nasal cavity. Because of that, a puppy that has a cleft palate cannot suck a vacuum on the nipple or in a bottle, and consequently, it cannot feed itself. And those puppies will not survive unless you tube feed. Now, what you've got, and those puppies, by the way, our experience has not been that, we haven't had this happen very often. Why does it happen? It's just probably one of those bad luck things. What do we do these days about it? We give folic acid, 5
In
milligrams.
the 23 years we've been raising Frenchies, how many times do you think it's happened to us?
3.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it's very rare.
But we're 3 on 0 getting those puppies to survive. We've tried every time.
Mm-hmm.
3 for 0 to get them to survive. But we had one with a cleft lip, and that did survive. So we'll talk about that in a second.
She did survive. Yeah.
But I want to get back to this.
Pet home.
If you've got one with a cleft palate, our recommendation is probably not to take it home from the vet. I think you're going to put yourself up through a lot of headache and heartache, and you're not going to get anywhere with it. The puppy just won't survive. And what happens with those puppies is they do, if you keep on going with this, they will get big enough that their eyes are open, they're walking around.
Well, it depends too on how bad the cleft palate is too.
Right.
You can have a surgery done on it,
but not till 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's the problem is you've got to get to 6 months, and what they typically happens.
You almost want to think that glue that you could put in there.
I thought about this.
I don't know.
I thought about a silicone prosthesis that you could put on the roof of their mouth. I mean, I think there should be a solution.
But it depends on how bad their cleft palate is before you sit there and say, put it down.
Well, but so what happens though typically is that you work like crazy, you're tube feeding all the time, and then they finally get
your dedication's all in that one.
They get a sinus infection, they don't make it. So that's our experience.
Get your heart broke.
So if you haven't gone through this, you probably need to go through it. But our recommendation would be probably not to bring a cleft palate puppy home. I think that one should be able to build a prosthesis, like you say, that you can get some super glue and you glue it to the bottom of their roof of their mouth. And you have to do it every other day, and you can get these puppies to survive. But in that time, I haven't had a cleft palate puppy to worry with on this. The cleft lip.
Knock on wood, I don't want any.
No, a cleft lip is. By the way, I want to say is 5 milligrams of folic acid is a good start towards this not happening. So you need to be giving that from the moment that these puppies are AI'd until mum delivers. 5 milligrams folic acid. It helps with these birth defect problems. Not necessarily going to fix it, but it will help. All right. Now, the hair lip, which means that you can see the teeth through a little gap here, but that puppy can suckle. And typically those puppies will survive, and they can have cosmetic surgery to fix this at about 6 months of age. And that is fixable. Okay, so in your situation, you have been tube feeding 4 or 5 times a day. So how much do you tube feed? And the answer to that is weigh the puppy in ounces, feed that in mils. 10-ounce puppy, 10 mils. In your case, this is a 12-ounce puppy. You get 12 mils every 3 hours, maybe less if it's been nursing on mum. I'd put it back with mum for as much as you possibly can. Just look at its belly. If its belly's bloated, it's got enough milk, skip a feeding. If its belly looks thin, give it a half load, or if it's really skinny looking, give it a full 12 mils. And just stick to it. I mean, hopefully here in a bit, this puppy's now 4 weeks old. This puppy can get on mush here pretty quick. Then you can, then it'll start growing.
Yeah. Fluffy Furry Frenchies. She wants to thank you for her poop tray. Says it works great. Boy, don't I know it works great. And what are you going to do?
We go get a poop tray.
Oh, okay. And then she wanted to know, how long does it take a female dog to go back to heat after having puppies? James.
It's always 6 months between heats, typically.
Typically 6 months in between heat. So you're looking at probably after she weans puppies, then it would what, be 3 months after that? I think so. Because it's 6 months after she's 60 days of having babies in her belly.
From when mum has puppies, it'll be 4 months till she goes back into heat, typically.
Don't scratch my couch.
Nope, I won't. All right. Okay. So somebody who talked about the poop tray?
Fluffy Furry Frenchie says that she loved her her poop tray.
We love our poop tray too.
Uh-oh, the paper came out.
Poop tray.
You didn't
Poop tray.
slap it in there good enough.
Okay, poop tray, thank you.
Yeah. Now, you got to keep the sides down, or if the puppy sees it and pulls through there, they'll pull it through every time.
3 different sizes. This is the medium size. This is the one we leave in the crate at night time.
Yeah.
Then we've got small ones. I haven't used the small one, but Chanel has been using that on her dogs. She's just having great luck with it. This little bitty one, small one.
Yeah.
Why this works so well is it is thin.
Well, she just had a litter too, so that's why it works good.
Yes, but the reason this works well is it's thin. The puppies will get up on it and not they have to climb up on it. It is solid. This thing doesn't bend.
You got it on the wrong.
This thing it's solid. The spacing between the rungs is big enough that the poop falls through.
4-week-old puppies can get on this.
Yeah, not 2-week-old puppies. 4-week-old puppies.
Yeah, not
but
2-week-old puppies.
Big enough that their paws won't fall through or get stuck. And people
Unless
say
it's a tiny puppy, it might, and then you want to wait about another week.
People say, okay, how do you train them? How do you train them, Tami?
Well, what you do is you catch a little piece of the poop that the puppy's pooped on a
the wrong place,
pad,
maybe. Yeah.
And put it inside that tray, and then they walk around and they smell it, and you just place them up there on it, and they smell it, and then they want to go to the bathroom. So that's how you do it.
So what is the thing that one of the most fun things that puppy can do, and it is eating poop. Puppies love to eat poop.
Well, they see mama cleaning them.
Right.
The sooner you get a puppy weaned away from mama, the better, because they're watching mama clean up other puppies and cleaning up poop that's on the ground, so they're going to copy her.
So what happens here is you'll see a puppy, and you can tell it's going to poop, and Tammy's already put some poop in there, so they migrate to that place because they're interested in poop. They poop. The moment they've pooped, they turn around because they'd like to get the poop they just pooped, falling through the grate, and they can't get to it. They just lose interest in it. I mean, for the most part, you don't have to train them at all. I mean, they just, within 24 hours, they're doing 90% of their mess and pee is going into the tray, and it just makes life. So it's a good deal.
You're going to scratch my couch, and I know it. That great big one.
Okay. Okay, so Jay Finesse is late as usual. No, we're not telling you what you mean. You missed all the good stuff. You missed the giveaway for one of these poop trays, Jay. Sorry.
You missed the $100. Your name was called for the $100.
Yes. Angela Bly says, I had puppy who was getting a flat chest last litter. I taped legs up and got some mattress crates for him to lay on. He came out of it in about a week. Yes. So the other things that you can do here would be the egg crates, good idea. Something that gives you definitely want to give them something cushy to be on. Number 2 would be that you want, you can use a prosthesis. If you go to Amazon, there's a couple there who sells a prosthesis kit. It's on Amazon. It's called Puppy Flat Chest Kit. I did get one. I ended up not using it, but I do have a video where I show how you use it. So to me, the prosthesis is more of a fix after it's gone wrong. And what you want to do is get those puppies' legs taped up so the whole thing goes away. Yep. And then, by the way, I did a video on this the other day because it's flat chest puppy.
You can watch the video and see how he moves, because we laid him on the table with a towel and let him kind of raise himself up a little bit.
Yeah, so one of the things that I did do in that video that I found out from somebody else was to use these liners for, what would you call it, Tami? They're kind of hexagonal crisscross liners that you use for a drawer.
Like when you put in your drawers in the kitchen for your silverware, your plates, a liner.
Yeah.
I can go get it.
Yeah, go get it.
I'll go.
Dirt cheap. It's a really good idea, and I mean, it gives them great traction. Yep. Can we see how he moves with his legs taped up? I would, but I've got to go back there, and so I've got to move my phone and everything.
Well, that video,
look at the video, James, and the video shows him moving. And I mean, it's dramatic. The moment that we put it on, you could see right away.
Well, in the video,
yes,
she can see it in that video that you did. Yeah.
So here's Tammy's got that line. This is good stuff.
This is that liner that you put in your.
Put it up close.
Some people use it in the bathrooms too, on their drawers. You lay the plates on it.
Get up close. Get up close so they can see the holes in it. There you go.
Yeah, that's a little rigid thing.
It's a rubbery mat.
Yeah.
So they get really good traction with it, better than they do with the towel. I think that's a good idea. And you can wash it. And that was like an 18-inch wide by 6 foot long was like $6. So it's dirt cheap. Right.
And you can fit it to the size you need.
Bernie Hood says the palate is, yes, the palate, got you. It's just a hair lip. It's just an opening in the lip. Yeah, Bernie. Yeah, you just keep on with what you're doing. Get that dog onto some soft food as soon as you can so you take some relief yourself. Put some weight on, 6 months, go do some surgery. What they'll do is they'll anesthetize the dog. They will cut away both sides of the V where the hole is. They'll sew it back together again, and the Bob's your uncle. Rather than barking, it'll go like this: muck, muck, muck. He's got a hair lip. I thought that was funny. If you think that was funny, let me know. Mark. All right.
Everybody knows off.
Okay, right. James and Tami, Ramon Diaz III says, can you fix a dog with hydro? If so, at what age? Do you mean hydrocephalus? I'm not sure what you're talking about here. If you're talking about hydrocephalus, you're talking about what we call water on the brain. You might just tell us if that's what you're talking about, and then we'll give you an answer.
Do they live?
Yeah, they can.
With water
Absolutely.
on the brain?
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
Well, so let's just talk about water on the brain for a moment. What goes on with water on the brain? These dogs tend to have a large forehead, and their eyes tend to get pushed out to the side and be bulgy. That is the sign of a dog that's got hydrocephalus. And what's going on here is the spinal fluid in their drain. I mean, I don't know the details exactly of this, but basically they've got intracranial pressure because spinal fluid is not draining properly. And you cannot do surgery on these dogs, but some of these dogs, it will just self-rectify. And when that happens, then the whole thing goes away. If it doesn't go away, then I mean the dog may, it may just all of a sudden die. So what can you do? Nothing that I'm aware of other than just a waiting game.
Somebody got a kick out of my reaction to your joke.
They didn't say they like my joke.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yoma says yes, that's what we're talking about. So
when can I start mush? I feel like we answer this question every weekend. You can start it if you had to at 3.5 weeks. They have teeth.
Maybe, yes.
But no, not maybe. If they're licking, they're usually already at mama's bowl at 3 weeks, licking around on it. So if they're licking, you make it just as runny as possible when you do the mush. Goat's milk makes it runny.
So why wouldn't you do it at 2 weeks?
Because they don't have teeth yet.
That's one reason.
That's one reason.
I don't think they can digest it.
Oh, okay.
That brings another thing to digestion. What do you feed a puppy that's not on mush yet? What is it? If you've got to feed a puppy, what do you feed it?
Hmm?
What do you feed
At what age?
2 weeks.
I don't know, James.
Goat's milk. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can't, what the point I was going to get across here is you'd be tempted to go get some cow's milk. Give them cow's milk.
Don't do that.
If you were in a...
They can't handle that.
Yeah, they'll be like lactose.
Has to be goat's milk.
They're like lactose intolerant. I mean, I think that if you gave a puppy goat, you'd probably get some diarrhea.
Was the one at the grocery store okay to use at that age?
What now?
The goat's milk at the grocery store
goat's milk.
At that age, at 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Not the formula that you can get out of the powder.
Well, that's it. So let's talk about the different foods you get. When you go to the vet, they're going to try and give you Espalac. Espalac is powdered goat's milk. That's what it is. They say it's got colostrum in it, but how the heck that can be, I have no idea. But they say it does. Fine. But it's just goat's milk. So then did
you ever read the ingredients on the back?
Yeah. Right.
Sure and it didn't say
goat's milk, number one ingredient.
It didn't. Milk. Yeah, no, but it didn't say anything about.
It says added colostrum, but where did that come from? Whose colostrum is it? And I mean, look, the vets will want you to use it. It's not got me any harm with it. I just don't think that there's 3 different versions of goat's milk. There's raw goat's milk, straight out the goat, right there on the farm. Can you use that? Absolutely. A little bit of a possibility because it's not pasteurized.
Bacteria.
You can get some bacteria, but probably fine. I mean, probably fine. Number 2 would be, and this is, I'm not going like this to be honest. Number 2, Gary, that's number 1.
Don't do that.
Number 2 would be pasteurized goat's milk that you can buy typically it's in the creamer section because people who are lactose intolerant can handle it. And you can buy that in a quart container, and that'll last you a long time. Number 3 would be powdered goat's milk. Powdered goat's milk is very convenient because you can make it what you want, and you don't have to, just throw away what you don't use. All 3 of them, absolutely fine, including Espalac, will be absolutely fine.
But first, make the mush with the hot water so it'll soften up faster, about 40 minutes. Because if you try to soften it with goat's milk, it's forever and a day to get it soft. So get your hot water, to let it soften for about 40 minutes or more. Smash it up real good, and then add goat's milk to that and make it just as runny as possible when they're at 3.5 weeks old. What are you doing?
Getting that close to you.
No.
Because your head's small.
So anyway, you make it just like gravy, runny gravy, and they'll lap that up. And then the older they get, make it a little thicker each time.
We're weak on thumbs up. We needed like the other half of you to give us thumbs up. All right, so the Frenchy Coco has come back here. Said, when you determine if this is the person who was asking about the, I think that was her, wasn't it?
Ha ha ha. Benny Hood said, I thought it was funny. My wife, not so much. LOL. Us women think alike.
Hey,
These
Benny,
guys
tell your
are
wife men are
little
talking. See how
boys.
that works for you.
Awful little boys. They never grow up.
All right, the Frenchy Coco. When you determine a dog's due date, do you calculate by the first AI? We did a standing AI, then a surgical 2 days later. She was a PG of 18 at the first and 25 at the second. That's a good question. Look, I mean, some people are doing 5 AIs. Which one do you go off? Who knows? You don't know which one took. What you do know, though, is what the PG level
Why
was.
would you do 5 AIs?
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. But they didn't do
3 at the most.
They did 2. They
done.
did fine. They did 2. They did 1 at 18, which is.
Oh, I thought they said 5.
No. I'm just talking about. They did 1 at 18, and they did 1. We did a standing AI, then a surgical 2 days later. She was PG was 18 at the first and 25 at the second. So look, I think that you typically do a surgical a day later because the semen doesn't have to travel up the vaginal canal, and so the timing's about the same. So typically, what you do is you go 61 days, and so for you, I would say 61 days from the PG of 18 is going to be close. Take the earlier one, not the later one, because you don't want to get caught with your pants down. Because in fact, you go off the second one, and it was the first one that took it, and now you're a day late on your C-section. So go off the one on the 18, count 61 days, and that gets you waving in the wind ballpark. Not a guaranteed. Don't schedule it yet. You're within plus or minus probably a day of the right time. Now, what do? You take a temperature. You want to see a temperature drop going from something above 100 to something below 99.0 as you get close to that due date. We do our first PG test, which is at about 99.3. And what you typically see at 99.3, you are typically a day or two approximately for having puppies. But what you're going to see is temperature drops below 99.0, puppies the next day. Stops eating food, puppies the next day. Nesting, panting, puppies that day. PG level, less than 3.5 or 3, safe to take puppies. If you do all those things and you get the majority of that right, the problem is there's no single thing, even PG level, that guarantees you're in the right place. It's really a preponderance of all this stuff that lets you know that you're in a safe place. And if you do that, you'll be okay. Show us the Rojo Fluffy.
A puppy? And we don't have a Rojo Fluffy puppy.
No,
we've got a new shade Isabella Fluffy Carrier.
Go grab him. Go grab those 2 girls.
He is available.
Go grab those 2 boys.
I'll grab one at a time.
Okay. All right. Well, you can give me one. I'll take one.
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
All
I'm
right.
not going to bring you 2
Right.
at a time.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So we've got a Gobstopper. Gobstopper is a new shade full fluffy, bred to a lilac and tan that carries cocoa.
Carries
non-fluffy. So these dogs are.
You said cocoa. It's
lilac
testable.
and tans that carry cocoa. Excuse me. Lilac and tans that carry testable chocolate Rojo and a new shade, and they're both fluffy carriers. You're fixing to see those.
Just walk up to
the one you got off Mo.
They were asleep. Oh, he's one. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I have to.
Yes.
Go retriever. We've got babies in the house, so I don't have them in the house with.
Well, now Tammy's.
Now
you've messed up here because Tammy's not going to be in a salesman mode. Go ahead, Tammy. Go on.
Well, that guy gave me an excuse. This guy is Cider. He is a new shade Isabella. He was asleep, and he's fixing to go sleep again. New shade Isabella, fluffy carrier, AT-AT. And he's just a sweet boy. And he's so pretty. You show me how pretty your eyes are. See my pretty eyes and my flat face. I got a good bite. See, I'm sleepy. He's a good-looking boy. Anyway, he is the lightest new shade I have seen. I'm sure there's more out there, but that's my new shade boy.
Pretty light, isn't he?
But he's available. He's looking for a home. If you want him for a pet, get him for a pet. But if you want to breed,
you make a nice dog.
He'd be great for your program or your camp, whatever you want to call it, camp program for your females. He would be awesome.
So I'm going to ask a question. Jamal, I'm going to answer your question here in a moment. But Sarah Wilson says, if a dog carries lilac and tan and testable chocolate, can they produce the color ciders? Yes, if they're bred to the right dog. So that's what's going on there. What you've got there is the girl is a lilac and tan that carries testable chocolate bred to a dog that is a new shade. So the new shade would be a dog. It's a new shade Isabella. So a new shade Isabella is little d blue, little b rojo, little co cocoa, bred to a dog that's little d blue, so all get that. Little co, so they all get that. And then half of them got 2 copies of little b, which is the dog that you saw. And then one of the dogs only got 1 copy of the b, and that's this boy right here. So he is a lilac and tan that carries rojo or testable chocolate. He is the dog that you're talking about. Yeah. And he can produce new shades if bred back to another dog.
And he can produce, he always holds his ears flat when he's sleepy and when I'm holding him. Yes. Yes. When he's standing, he is a stout thing. You've seen the videos of him on Love My Pups official and Love My Pups, and then Tami chopping on Facebook. So all the videos and his pictures show how short he is. He's just all bone. He's just beautiful.
He's got a really nice structure.
And he'll make you rojo and tans, new shade Isabellas and tans, lilac and tans, blue and tans, chocolate and tans. He's just gorgeous.
Okay, so Jamal says, "Hello, I did 3 PG tests on my bitch. First test on day 9 was 0.3, so that's
female.
A low number for day 9. Most dogs at day 9, they're ovulating, they'll be around a 5. We're talking about an IDEX machine here, which is what most vets have. Okay. 4 days later, she was at a 2.8, which is about right. You expect to go up about 1 point a day, which is what that dog did. And then 2 days later was a 10.8. So that's about right. So a 2.8, call it a 3, then 3 days later. So if you're at a 3, then you'd be at a 4, then you'd be a 5. Then you start to go up 70%, so you'd be about an 8, and you're at a 10. That's always perfectly correct. A dog that's at a 10.8 on IDEX needs to be probably bred the next day, which is what you did.
Oh, we got some money from Fluffy Furry
Frenchies. That was nice. So you're not late. You're the right person. The one thing that you didn't do, and the one thing you should do next time, and everybody should pay attention to this one, is when you think you're finished with your last breeding, get a PG test and make sure the numbers are high. Because we don't know, that dog may have gone backwards. It probably didn't. But that dog could have gone backwards. And you see this a lot, especially young dogs that have got a very kind of variable heat cycle where it's not smoothed out yet. And those dogs will trick you. You think that it's a 10 and the next day it's going to be a 16 and you're going to breed. And if you test it again, it was at an 8. So you need to do another PG test. We always these days do a PG test when we think we're finished.
Posh did that. And she's not pregnant.
Right.
Makes me aggravated because I had her bred to Pinky.
Yes.
And I was looking forward to new shade Isabellas and rojo and tans and
the
fluffies.
And the problem there was we didn't do the breeding; it was done somewhere else. And also not by Curtis. Though. Not by Curtis. No. Not by complaining Curtis. Young dog first.
Young dog. It wasn't just because you didn't do it. It's because young dogs sometimes just don't.
And a single shot. We didn't have another shot to be given anyway. That's none of that. Curtis is who has the dog. None of this is Curtis's fault whatsoever.
No.
It's the way that it is. Doesn't always work out.
Usually your first time females, they'll do this, and it's frustrating because you get your hopes up like I did. So I'll have to try it again.
I'm going to get to William Peters' question in a moment. But Dana Hall says, and this is Sarah also has asked about this. If you have an Isabella stud, what DNA does your female need to produce rojo? So the answer is
anything testable.
That's right. A rojo is a little b dog. You haven't asked about the other colors, so we're not going to talk about those. You asked specifically about rojo, which we used to call testable chocolate. All you need to produce a rojo dog is both partners, male and female, have to at least carry 1 copy of little b.
And if you're looking for a little male puppy, that little boy I had a while ago would be perfect. And the person that asked for me to stack him on the table or something, call me and I'll FaceTime you. And I can definitely stack him there. I can't stack him very good right here.
No, and also if you just take him up after you've been sleeping, they're not stacked.
Yeah, but
they're all kind of away from their other siblings.
Call me later and I'll FaceTime him to you.
Okay, so William Peters, my 13-month-old puppy's teats have been swollen for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
How long until birth? Should we start on folic acid? We didn't intend a pregnancy. We dropped the ball.
The day you bred her.
I can told we can expect 3. Okay, so the first thing is folic acid now. You should be doing the folic acid from the moment you AI until you and the best
And puppy food.
Yeah.
Feed her puppy food.
So all right, so I'll ask you about that here in a second.
Okay.
So the best time to give the folic acid is the beginning of the pregnancy, because that's when all of this cell division stuff's going on. To give folic acid at the last week is probably a waste of time. Giving folic acid at the beginning is a lot more valuable than giving it at the end, but give it the entire time. It's dirt cheap. Tell us about the food, Tami. What food?
Puppy, we sell the Life Abundance on mybreedersupply.com. You can order it on there, and
But what are you
come
telling them
straight
on
to your
food?
house. And it's not very much shipping either. I mean, I was shocked whenever the first time that I ordered it. My son kept on telling me, "You need this." It's the Puppy Life Abundance small breed. All right, and you give it to her for the calcium that she needs, and
we need
the
more
other
people to give us
yeah.
a thumbs up.
Yeah.
You give the puppy
Yeah.
food because you want high protein.
High protein. I'm
'Cause
sorry.
Puppies
Because calcium, you don't need it yet till.
No, they don't need they don't need carbohydrates.
I
That's
said that
calories.
wrong.
That's calories. They're not bouncing around. They need protein
meant
to make
protein.
puppies, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But as you wanted to see my new shade Rojo and Tan female that I got from Mo, she is gorgeous. I'm keeping my fingers crossed she's pregnant because her nipples have changed.
It's like William Peters are getting bigger.
Oh,
First time mama.
And I can feel a little bit of hardness. Like this is the round part to the nipple, and this is the teat. Right around that little nipple area, I can feel a little hardness on it, at that big round, and then I can start to feel a little line of. But yeah, their teats get change shape and turn red and all that stuff.
First time mama.
Posh didn't do that.
First time mama, their teats are completely flat to their chest.
Mm-hmm.
And after they've had a litter, typically those teats never go back to that small size, but that's a really good sign. If you're 2 weeks into this,
if they've had one litter, they probably do.
2 or 3 weeks into this, you're seeing that, then that's a good sign that she's probably pregnant. Now, how they determine that you're going to have 3, I can tell you this, that ultrasounds that you can do at about, some vets say 24 days. I think you need to wait till day 30. They're extremely unreliable in coming up with if the dog's even pregnant. For us, a relaxin blood test, we sell those on My Breeder Supply. And that's what we did, by the way, with Posh, wasn't it? When we got her back, we did a test on her, and it's like, not pregnant. It's super reliable.
Yeah. But, and I'll go ahead and tell y'all who we bred her to, and I'm going to knock on wood on Sophia, my new shade Rojo and Tan female. It is Koi Grams, and he is a Koi. So I'm going to get, I hope, little Kois out of this, Merles out of this. They're going to be gorgeous. Little bitty guy. I think he weighed, 17 pounds?
Yes.
And she weighs about 17, 18 pounds.
Yes.
They're going to be little.
And when
they're going to be so pretty.
I'd never seen a Koi before.
Knock on wood, knock on wood.
I've never seen a Koi before.
Knock on wood, knock on wood.
Yeah, whatever. I've never seen a Koi before.
I'm excited.
But you could see why they call them
because
Koi.
I got excited about Posh because she was going to be bred to, or she was bred to Pinky, and she just didn't do it. It's first time mama, so it happens.
All right. In Zathra Superstars Guard, if a dog is Big B Little B, then it carries Rojo. It is KBKY. It's a brindle. It's Little D, it's a blue. That is a blue brindle that carries Rojo. That's what you call it. So she's got a purple nose. That's because of the blue. But that's what she is. She is and she shouldn't have a red eye glow. If she's got a red eye glow, then she may have 2 copies of cocoa, and then she'd be a lilac. Because typically you see a lavender, purpley look. It's a lilac. You didn't mention about the cocoa. But if you take her into a completely dark room, turn on your video on your phone with the light on, and you see a demonic red glow, then that is either a double little B dog, a double little CO dog, or a Merle dog, or any combination thereof. You've got to have 2 copies. It's got to be a chocolate dog or a Merle dog to get a red eye glow.
This William Peters, how far along is his female? Because he said swollen for about 2 weeks.
Right.
How long until birth? Do you not? Do you know the due date or
Well, I
the
didn't finish up
breeding
on
due
that, did I?
date? No,
No.
you need to know the breeding due
No,
date.
no, but they don't know. Read it there. It says it was an unintended pregnancy. So they don't know what the dog has got. That's what happened.
Okay.
So
And then he was told that we can expect 3.
yeah.
So
Well, look,
is she that far along that he had an X-ray done and saw puppies? Or
well, you
what?
wouldn't have an X-ray done until about day 50 into this, so you'd have an
I don't know how
ultrasound
you
done.
know she had 3.
Here's the problem you're in. You don't know exactly what's going on. So what
No.
you're going to do is start taking temperature. And, I would start taking a temperature. And, if you take a temperature and it's 100.5 or higher, then wait 5 days. But when this temperature starts dropping down below 100, you take a temperature every day. And that's the thing that's going to tell you when she's going to be ready, because the temperature will drop below 99.0. So that's the way that you do these dogs. If you don't know what's going on, it's hard to tell. You can do an X-ray, and a vet who's proficient at this could probably look at the X-ray and come within 3 days of when the right day is. But when they start telling you the right day, I don't believe a word of it. I think you need to go off temperature on this dog and behavior.
Yeah, Sarah Wilson is the one that bought little. Her name is Sweetie now instead of Hazel. Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely create a new shade Isabella or Rojo and Tan with that testable chocolate lilac. That's what her mama was, a lilac and tan that carried testable, and we bred her to a new shade Isabella, and she had the new shade Isabellas and the lilac and tan.
And since she got a female from us, what does that do for her?
That gets her half price breedings as long as she wants to keep breeding her female.
And all else she produces from it.
Will you let me answer it?
Sorry, go ahead.
And then when that little female, little Sweetie, has babies and you have females, you get to do the same thing with those females. You get to offer your customers half price breedings with those babies as well.
Yep.
For as long as they want to keep breeding babies.
That's right. Right.
That's why my females sell so quick, is because we do that with our females. As long as you got our studs with their names, their sire, their daddy, that's what you get.
Yes, if anybody has a female that has one of our sires on its breed certificate as the daddy to that dog, it's valid for the half price breedings. At least for now, that would be true. How are we doing on these? We've got a few more thumbs up. Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
So if you have
10 thumbs up, that'd be nice. All right.
So Dana Hall, did you answer hers? If you have an Isabella stud, what DNA does your female need to produce Rojo?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Elliot Frenchy Farm says, hello guys, you guys are awesome. Well, you're awesome too, especially if you give us a thumbs up. Sarah Wilson, why do you choose Life's Abundance? Is there a reason you love it?
Well, because I used to be on
From.
Yeah, I did From. I've did
it's been 5 or 6
what is it, the canned stuff? Imes. I did Imes. And my son kept on telling me, Mom, you're going to be really, really happy with this Life Abundance if you try it. And I just kept on him hauling around. Finally, I tried it. And it's like world of difference on how my puppies looked, how their poop looked. It was good stuff.
The ingredients are good on it. It's not cheap. It's, it's something like it's delivered. And I think
you know that old saying, you get what you pay for?
Absolutely.
So if you run to the store and buy Old Roy.
No, I'm not doing that.
Don't do that.
No. I mean,
that Life Abundance is good stuff.
We've been very happy with it. It's worked well for us.
I mean, we feed our adults
and the nice thing is it shows up. You just order it and then a box shows up.
And the shipping on it's not high at all.
Well, that's all buried into the cost, isn't it? But it's not a stupid price. I mean, it's not like
I've had to pay high dollar dog food before, and the shipping was ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Elliot says, "My girl is expecting her second litter. I did an AI myself. Good for you. All of it with your guys teaching me through your videos. I'm glad. Sonogram next Wednesday to see if I pass. Well, let us know. Hopefully, you get an A+. And remember, the sonograms are not very reliable. If they come back and say the dog is not pregnant, don't assume that you have failed yet. And if they come back and say the dog is pregnant, don't go out and get yourself a steak dinner yet, because you may have still failed, because sonograms are not very reliable. G-Gab says, would you breed on first heat? Depends on the age of the dog, the structure of the dog. Dogs that are
12 months.
Yeah, 12-month-old dogs that are
and older,
decent size and are not really acting stupid, breed them. Done it a zillion times. Never had a problem with it.
11 months and 3 weeks. It's depending on the female if she's mature. Posh isn't mature. Posh is very immature.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's probably part of her reason why she didn't get pregnant. Because she's well over. She's a year and she's like 13, 14 months old.
Yeah. So that's the other thing about this is the younger dogs tend to not have very smoothed out heat cycles, and they can be difficult to breed. I wouldn't breed a dog at 10 months with a first heat cycle. I'd wait. So if a cutoff for us is basically a year, a dog on a first heat cycle that's damn close to or a year old, do it. Right. Okay. What are we doing now? We're running out of questions. Okay. I guess we just have to talk about something. Let's talk about the election.
No, please don't. My vet, I wish, don't get me started. My vet only confirms pregnancy. My heart's in the way by heartbeat with the sonogram, not by what they see.
Right. Yeah. So the problem gets to be is whether or not you can see on an ultrasound. I mean,
what age do you think, or does your vet say, or not age? How far along does your vet think she is? That would be my next question, because I think a vet could probably.
Well, I think the thing about a sonogram, it's all about two things: the resolution of the sonogram. If it's a newer machine, it's got good resolution, and the person who's running the sonogram. I think there are techs out there who do a lot of this stuff, and they know what to look for, and they're probably really good at it. And I think there are people out there who don't do very many of them, and they're not very good at it. So what do we do? The answer is that we draw blood ourselves. We go use the relaxing pregnancy test that we sell on My Breeder Supply. I think it's like $70 for 5 tests. They keep for a couple of years. 5 minutes later, you've got the results, and it has been absolutely 100% reliable for us. As long as you wait till day 30 or later, if you get 2 lines, that dog's pregnant. You don't know how many puppies there are. There could be 1 puppy. There could be 50 puppies. It doesn't tell you anything about the number of puppies. But if you get a line, that dog's pregnant. And if you don't get a line, that dog ain't pregnant. As long as you wait till day 30, it's been 100% reliable for us. It doesn't guarantee, it doesn't say it's 100% reliable, but we've done a lot of these tests, and it has been for us. So I think they claim like 85% reliability. I think it's a lot better than that, provided you wait till day 30 or later.
Oh, and I was going to tell y'all too, when we were talking about the females and you get the half price breeding, Cody's got a full fluffy female, and she is a Rojo and Tan Sable full fluffy female. So if you want to call me and I can get a hold of, make connections with Cody on that little female and set you up a FaceTime, or, you know, if you need videos, I can help you with that. So my phone number for that little female is 580, my phone number, 580-799-1910. She is a gorgeous thing, and she's little, and she is a nice little Rojo and Tan Sable.
So Elliot Frenchy says, fluffy. My vet says sonograms are not accurate unless you can hear the heartbeats. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. So the problem with sonograms is you've got to be able to distinguish between poop and a fetus, and that's where the problem lies. So they'll see poop and think it's a fetus, or they'll see fetus and think it's poop and get it wrong. So, and it's not because I know much about sonograms, because I don't. I thought about having sonograms and selling sonograms until I just didn't believe in it. I see too many people who come back and tell me things about what they've got going on, and then it's completely not what happens when they have birth.
Extraordinary, beautiful journey. Do you have to spin the blood for the pregnancy test? But
if you don't have a centrifuge,
I didn't get to finish the question.
Yeah, but do you have to spin the blood for the centrifuge? Yes, it's not a whole blood test; it's plasma. But what you can do is you can go take the cap on the end of the syringe, put some blood into that cap, tie it with a piece of tape to your ceiling fan, and let that ceiling fan spin for about 30 minutes, and that will separate enough that you can get the job done. So you can do it without a centrifuge.
Well, what if he what if he pulled his own blood, took it to the vet, and had them put it in their testing machine? Would that save him some money?
Well, I don't know. There's some vets.
Call your vet and see if they'll let you do that. I mean, if you're in a big city and those vets are like, no.
Let's do it yourself. Let's do it yourself. I mean, my advice to you is we sell centrifuges. Ultimately, you want to do all this yourself. I mean, you know, to have a centrifuge.
On My Breeder Supply, we've got those centrifuges.
I know what a centrifuge is these days. My Breeder Supply, $100. I think it's worth having a centrifuge, especially if you can do very many tests. So yeah. Ron Whitfield says, "Ma'am, please stop talking over your husband."
Oh, I had to control James a while ago. He was talking over me, so it goes both ways.
John Malloy is leaving us. He says it's time to feed the puppies. I know how that is. Right.
Ugh.
So talk about feeding puppies. I'm coming up with my next great thing, and it is a puppy feeder for milk. So here's what's going on. I've been working on this for quite some time.
It's been in my kitchen.
Well, I've been messing around this for probably 4 years now.
Anytime he invents something, my whole kitchen turns into.
I bought one of these multi-station feeders. It's a silicone kind of tower that has like 6 nipples on the bottom of it. You put milk at the top. And I bought one of those, and it sucked. And it sucked for a couple of reasons. The first thing is one of the nipples just started ejecting milk all the time. So I had to put a clip on that one to stop that one from going, because it was just going to drain the whole thing. The next thing is the milk got cold, and the puppies didn't like it when it was cold. And the third one was some of the puppies got roughhoused with it and bit one of the nipples off, and then the whole thing was ruined. So what's my one? My one would be a multi-station feeder that uses regular bottles with silicone nipples that you can buy at Walmart. So if somebody messes a nipple up, you can replace it. That's the first thing. It's got to be reusable. It can't be, not going to charge you for big money for something that, one time and it's been destroyed, like that silicone thing that I bought. And it has a heater in it. So it has a heater that keeps the milk at around 105 degrees. So the milk is always nice and warm all the time. And you'll find that puppies, when they get warm milk, they really like it. Plus, it's much better for the puppies that way anyway. Helps them digest it better. So there we go. I'm going to have probably a couple of different varieties. I'll probably have a 4-station, 8-station, a 12-station feeder. And like I say, it's all rerun on 12 volts. So there's no 110. So that any cables that go to it, if they get bit, nobody's going to electrocute it. So hopefully I'll show you something here for my next litter, which is coming up when? When's the next litter?
November the 16th or 20th.
Okay,
which one is it?
By then I want to have it going so I can use it on those puppies.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Yep. So the idea behind this is I want to make life easier for
That's
people
Sophia.
who mum's milk's not very good and they have to have a way that they can feed their puppies easily. They don't have to hand feed them. So there we go. Yeah. All right, I think let's see another question there, and then we're going to be about done with this.
If you want to check us out on our puppies, go to lovemypups.com. Also go to Love My Pups Official on Instagram. Then as me on my Facebook page is Love My Tami Chopping, Tami, and it's CHOPPING. It's James and I on our wedding day. We're in our wedding clothes. You'll see the picture. That's what I'm talking about.
It was the best day of your life, wasn't it?
At that time. So anyway, if you want to see my puppies, they're on there.
Hey, somebody else wants to show us their dogs off. Rolling Loco, hey, says, I really like you guys to check out my dogs. Send me a link to it. I'll take a look. Absolutely. Extraordinary Beautiful Journey says, thank you. You're all both awesome. I buy all my tests from My Breeder Supply. Supply being life and money saving. Thank you very much. You're welcome. We're glad to have you as a customer. Thank you very much. William Peter says, I perceived as the hubby is talking over the wife.
Thank you. Thank you. Because he does all the time.
I wish I could just disconnect individual people. I could just shut individual people off. And then Peters would be out of here.
Yeah.
Switches off.
Here, what was his name that said that? The other guy that said I was over talking you.
Run with vision is a very smart man.
Ha, 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 ha.
Okay, well, we're there at 9 o'clock, so we've been 1 hour into this. Unless somebody asks a couple more questions.
Mommy, I need to sell my little babies because I've got another litter coming up. I need to sell these 2 little boys that I've got. Chanel's got that full fluffy lilac and tan, full fluffy. Carries testable, carries, does he carry cream? And he carries intensity.
Don't think he does.
And none of our babies have brindle. These fluffy carriers, no brindle, no pied. Cody's little female is a sable, ATAY, Rojo and Tan sable, full fluffy. So give me a call at 580-799-1910, and you can see these babies.
And
I'll show you on FaceTime. I can show you and stack them, and you can ask me all the questions you want all at once on a FaceTime.
And I do have a channel, breeder101.com, where I've got all these video lectures. And there's actually 6 separate lectures. They do cost a little bit of money, but they're less than a vet visit. You own them forever. They're streaming videos. Each one's 10 to 20 hours worth of videos. It's new stuff that you don't see on YouTube. It's all about a particular topic, like the market for selling puppies, or how to have a stud business, or how to get dogs pregnant, or how to problems with puppies. I mean, I've got lots of different videos. Take a look at it, breeder101.com. And everything comes with a guarantee. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Okay, so what else, Tammy?
That's it.
Okay. I think we're going to say goodbye to everybody then.
Yep.
All right.
We had fun.
Yep. Hope you did
when
too.
James not over talking me.
William Peters says, I perceive, yeah, he says, super helpful. I'm not talking to him anymore. He's been cut off.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, he has, from me. He has. Okay. All right. Bye, buddy.
See you. Bye-bye.